Hey everybody, it's Michelle,
And Brandy.
and this is Spooky Shit. So this week we're going to be talking about online predators. I have two stories, so I'm going to start off talking about Patricia Alatorre.
And then I'm going to talk about Breck Bednar.
And I'm going to finish talking about Alicia Kuzakovich.
Warning: this episode may contain graphic details. Listener discretion is advised.
Whew, tried to say both their last names confidently, but I had them spelled out, and I was like, oh my god, get through it. Okay. Patricia Alatorre, also known as Patty, was a newly 13-year-old girl who lived in Bakersfield, California. She was the youngest of 8 children and was nicknamed Slim Jim because at 5 feet tall and 90 pounds, she was like hella fucking skinny and small. Patty was Hispanic with brown hair and brown eyes, and she was described as being sweet and caring but with a bold personality. As one person said, she was spunky and sweet. On July 1st, 2020, so very recently, after 11 p.m., Patty told her siblings she was going to bed. The next morning, Patty's mom went to wake her up, but found her daughter wasn't in bed. Instead, clothing and pillows had kind of been placed under the blanket, almost looking like she was like pretending to be sleeping there, you know? I've never done that,
Yeah,
but
like in the movies.
I feel
when
like
they sneak
I
out.
was gonna say I feel like that's in movies when they sneak out, they pile stuff up, and the parents are all like, "Oh, they're sleeping peacefully." So Patty's mom tried to call her, but the call went straight to voicemail. And after speaking with a neighbor, she was able to see on their Ring doorbell camera that Patty had left home and gotten into a white pickup truck around 11:30 p.m. the night before, after she said she was going to sleep. Patty was reported as missing that same day and was initially believed to be a runaway, although law enforcement still released information about her case and shared images of the car she had been seen entering. Patty's family started a vigil that they planned to hold every day until she was found. On July 3rd, while all of this was happening, firefighters were called to put out a fire in Inglewood. Upon extinguishing the fire, they found a then unidentified body of a young woman in a sleeping bag. She was declared dead at the scene and had tape on her mouth and arms. During the course of the investigation, it was found that over the past week, Patty had been talking to a 24-year-old man named Armando Cruz on Instagram. Armando lived in Inglewood, which is in LA, and he had offered to pay Patty for sex acts. The two also shared inappropriate photos with one another, which, like, well, PSA reminder to you guys, that's literally child pornography. Even if she sent it herself, she's a child. He's a 24-year-old. That's so creepy. After Patty sent him the photos, Armando began to threaten to leak them online unless she kept responding to him. And, like, I can very easily imagine being 13 years old and just being, like, terrified, because I feel like that would just feel like the end of the world, you know, if somebody leaked your photos like that. So I totally get why she kept talking to him.
Yeah, definitely.
After finding out about Armando, Bakersfield police contacted the LAPD about the investigation, and on July 6th, the LAPD tracked Armando down to his studio apartment. They found him, and parked outside the white apartment was a white pickup truck registered in his name that matched the one from the video. Armando was questioned as a person of interest before being arrested. While interviewing Armando, he admitted that the two had been communicating through social media and revealed that they had met up twice. The first time had been in the summer of 2020. I should give a little warning right now. Both of my stories are graphic, so keep that in mind. Yeah.
Mine's a little graphic.
Okay. Yeah, I hope that Robert's warning will be enough, and our theme is online predators, so you know it's no good, but be warned, everyone. So, Armando drove up from his home 2 hours away to meet Patty at a designated meeting spot in Bakersfield, where he convinced her to go down on him. On the second meeting, things took a turn for the somehow even worse. Armando said that after picking up Patty, he drove her around while she was screaming that she didn't want to go with him. He also claims that they had 2 sexual encounters, and by sexual encounters, we can assume he means that he assaulted her the first time, because during the second encounter, he had begun to rape Patty when she started to scream at him to stop. To make her be quiet, Armando began to strangle her until she went silent. Fearing that she may still be alive, he then covered her mouth and nose with duct tape to make sure she couldn't breathe. After murdering the young girl, Armando again went on to rape her body twice. He then started to drive back to LA with the body in tow and stopped along the State Route 99 to throw Patty's phone into some bushes by the highway. This phone was later found after he made his confession. Armando then drove his truck to an unincorporated area of Inglewood where he wrapped Patty's body in a red sleeping bag, set it behind a bulldozer in a parking lot, and set her remains on fire. After disposing of the girl's body, he simply drove home to his apartment and he slept in the back of his truck. Like, no big deal. Also, I don't know why he slept in his truck. He had an apartment. That was weird.
He was exhausted, apparently.
Apparently from so much fucking murder and being a scumbag. As I said before, there had been an unidentified body found under extremely similar circumstances in LA, and when the Bakersfield Police Department reached out to the LAPD with a picture of Patty, they confirmed that the remains likely belonged to her. The Bakersfield Police Department have referred to this as one of the worst missing children cases that they have ever had. On July 7th, 12 felony charges were filed against Armando, who was being held without bail. These charges included first-degree murder, kidnapping, rape by force or fear, lewd, and I don't know how to pronounce this word, lascivious. In my mind, I say lascivious. I know that's not right.
I'm not even going to try because I don't know.
Yeah, I read it in my head just fine, but I say it out loud. But basically, lewd acts with a child under 14 and contacting a minor with intent to commit sexual offense. He, of course, pled not guilty to all of these, as everyone does.
Mm-hmm.
On July 30th, 2020, Armando was scheduled to show up to court for a hearing, but he did not. Instead, his attorney went and explained to the court that he wanted to talk to his lawyer before going. And the next day, court documents described how Armando had raped and killed Patty before trying to get rid of her body. So I took that to kind of think that he was like making a fuller confession or something. I don't know. Maybe those two facts were unrelated and I just kind of connected them when I shouldn't have. On August 14th, 2020, Armando's legal team tried to have all media excused from the pretrial hearings due to COVID-19 and because they didn't believe it would lead to a fair trial. But a month later, this request was rejected. The court proceedings were further stalled back in February of this year when Armando and his lawyers were trying to change the location of the trial, a request which was denied by the judge as it's too early in the process to be making such changes. A preliminary hearing for Armando was scheduled for this April, like April 21st, but last minute was postponed and it's now going to be in August of 2021. So I can't even say what happened, but I think it's safe to say he's going to be found guilty or plead guilty for as part of a deal. You know, it seems pretty cut and dry.
I hope so.
I know. Oh my God, I fucking hope so. So while all of these things were happening, everyone who knew Patty was mourning for the 13-year-old who lost her life. On July 10th and 11th, 2020, a cruise for Patty was planned in remembrance of her because she was a big fan of cars. Over 100 people attended this event to honor her and help raise money for her family. And a memorial service was also held on July 25th. A GoFundMe was set up to help the family financially, and in it was written how Patty was our precious soul, our baby. And thankfully, the GoFundMe was actually able to reach its campaign goal, so you can't even donate to it anymore if you wanted to.
Damn.
Thought that was at least one nice thing.
Yeah.
Since her violent murder, Patty has been dubbed Bakersfield's daughter. And on October 12th of 2020, a local artist organization named 3 Next Steps unveiled a mural they had made titled just that. The mural depicted Patty surrounded by 3 things that she loved in life: sunflowers, cowboy boots, and butterflies. It was cute, yeah. During the unveiling ceremony, it was requested that the around 100-200 guests bring either a red rose or sunflower in Patty's name. This event was also attended by a large group of bikers, as dirt biking was one of Patty's favorite activities, and the bikers rode up and down the street for her. Patty's mom was at the event, and she said, "There's love here," and described her daughter as being like the sun when it rose in the morning, saying, "I can feel her presence here, so she's here." And yeah, that is my story on Patty. Not a happy one?
No.
This episode's not a happy theme.
Yeah, I was gonna say this whole episode's not a happy one.
Have we ever done a happy episode? No. Yeah. But I remember reading about that last year, actually, whenever it was like all happening, and being like, oh, fuck. I didn't know the details, but yeah.
Now you do. Now we all do.
Yeah, now we know too much.
So, to Breck Bernard's story. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
I saw some of his story, and I feel like that's how I read it in my head.
Bednar.
Yeah.
Bednar.
I don't know what accent I pulled out there.
So, Breck was a 14-year-old from Caterham, Surrey, England. He had been killed by an 18-year-old he only knew from online gaming.
That's also very young, like the killer himself, only 18.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's crazy.
Ugh.
Breck was a student at St. Betty's School in Red Hill in Surrey. He was a member of the Air Training Corps 135 Squadron ATC, which is basically a British volunteer military youth organization that prepare young men for entry to the Royal Air Force.
Oh my god.
So.
Jeez. It's kind of intense.
A little bit.
Like, they're just children.
Yeah,
they don't need that. Yeah, they really don't need to be in that.
They start early over there, I guess. Though.
Oh my god, I feel like they do the same shit here though. Here they go to high schools and they're like, "You want to go to college? You better join the army." Mm-hmm. And I'm like, "Oh my god."
He also regularly attended St. John the Evangelist Church in Caterham, England, wherever that is.
Yeah,
I don't know England.
But he attended church.
Yes.
Okay.
His mother described him as relaxed and warm-hearted, with many friends with whom he played games online after school. She also said that he was really passionate about science, computing, and gaming.
Oh, same. Gaming, at least.
Well, computing too. Well,
yeah, I'm on a computer right now. That's computing.
True.
I don't know what computing means.
And just like computers.
Okay, so I'm computing right now.
I have forgot the actual definition, but it's something to do with computers. I'm guessing it's like the people that are really into it, like build their own.
Oh yeah, Robert, I think, has built his own computer before.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's more expensive.
Yeah, it is. But supposedly it's better.
I guess it's just fun, too.
It's a Build-A-Bear.
Yeah, it is like a little Build-A-Bear. You just get attached to it.
But yeah, Breck's parents, Barry Bednar and Lauren Lafave.
Those sound like such British names.
Well, actually, they were born in the States. Their parents.
They were what?
Parents.
They're
here?
From the
States. Yeah.
Oh. What? Those sound like cartoon character names in a British TV show.
I mean, maybe they are British, but they were from the States.
I was going to say, it's funny if they moved there to have kids so their kid would have an English accent.
I mean, they didn't.
I'm sure people have done it. I'm English now. My parents did that.
You've done it now.
Oh god, that was weird.
Oh, that was funny. But yeah, his mom, Lauren, was from Massachusetts.
Oh.
And his dad, I'm not sure. So they moved to England from the United States 3 years before Breck was born.
Oh, they totally wanted a baby with an English accent. I'm calling it.
Well, they had a total of 3 kids. No, 4.
And they hated their American accents on their other children.
Well, they had Breck and then they had triplets.
Holy shit. Okay, never mind. Whoa, can you imagine 3 equally sized, identical babies walking around being like, hello.
That's adorable.
Oh my god. See, I'd do it too. I don't want kids, but if I had to have triplets, I'd move them to England as well.
Yeah.
Worth it.
Facts. But yeah, Barry Bernard was a 49-year-old oil trader and a shipping consultant. He was
Okay.
described by some sources as a millionaire. He may
I was
not.
gonna say that sounds like he probably makes a lot of money.
Hmm.
Yeah.
His mom was 48-year-old teaching assistant.
Two very different jobs.
Yeah.
Really on the spectrum there.
It was probably like she loved it though, obviously.
Yeah.
He probably took care of him and
I was like, and she didn't need to be bringing in much money. It was just
Yeah,
for
no.
fun.
It was just for funsies. So Lauren was reported to have limited Breck's access to electronics, installed parental controls, and forbade him from using the same server as a boy she had grown suspicious of.
Why'd she grown suspicious of it?
You'll see.
Oh, you'll get to it.
She recalled his personality was changing and his ideology was changing, and he was starting to refuse to attend church with us.
Oh, okay. I mean, I can't
that's
judge
literally
that
what she
last
quoted.
part. Yeah, I stopped attending church too around that age.
I stopped sooner.
I didn't have a choice. I was forced until then.
Yeah, I was forced to.
Isn't
when
it
I
funny?
was little.
I feel
my
like
mom
forcing your
honestly
kids
hated church too, so she stopped making us go.
Yeah, I feel like whenever you force your kids to go to church, they're for sure not going to want to go to church anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to blame my parents for making me not believe in God. It's all your fault. Should have taken me to church.
I mean, I don't consider myself I don't follow any certain religion. I just consider myself a believer.
Yeah, I don't not believe. That was a weird sentence. I don't know. But I hate church, that's for sure. That's what I do know.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
Never liked church.
I believe in something, but not
Son.
church.
Not that building.
Definitely not. She also said, I felt like it was because of the negative influence of this person, meaning the boy she was suspicious of.
Yeah.
In December 2013, Lauren actually called the Surrey police and expressed concerns about online grooming.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I have the definition just in case people don't know what grooming is.
Yes.
Grooming is befriending and establishing an emotional connection with a child and sometimes the family to lower the child's inhibitions with the objective of sexual abuse. But, online.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could groom in person too.
Yeah.
Only online. That's the rules. No.
I just mean.
Oh, I was going to say it's funny because I also had that exact same definition in my next story, which I no longer have to say anymore.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Spoiler alert. We both mentioned grooming.
But yeah, she basically she saw the changes in her son and was like, what the fuck? What's going on?
This ain't normal.
And yeah, this ain't normal. And so she actually called the police and tried to basically warn them and be like, I think my son's in danger, do something.
Wow. I'm guessing they didn't.
Nope.
Stupid. And she actually even had the foresight to notice that this was happening and say something about it, and it still was not enough.
Yep.
That's devastating.
It's sad. It's really sad. But yeah, the teenagers had been playing games online for several months, despite Lauren's efforts to put an end to their relationship.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, they were talking on some game forum secretly.
Would they use microphones or was it just typing? Do you know?
I actually don't know. But I assume it's both because they use. I think I wrote it down later in my notes. They would play Call of Duty and Battlefield together.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure they had mics and we're like, watch out.
Yeah.
By the way, you should come
Behind
over.
you. On February 17th, 2014, 18-year-old Louis Daines was able to lure Breck to his flat in Essex, where he was ultimately murdered.
Fuck.
Yeah. So Breck ended up traveling by taxi to Lewis's flat. He had told his parents that he was sleeping at a friend's house near their home in Caterham, Surrey.
Mm-hmm.
Or Surrey. I'm not sure.
I think it's just Surrey.
I think it is too.
Yeah. Surrey.
Surrey.
And I'm like, is it a French neighborhood?
On the day of his death, Barry, his dad,
Mm-hmm.
grew worried after he didn't show up at home. They were supposed to spend like the whole weekend together.
Oh.
I'm not sure, like, I'm kind of guessing, but I think his parents were separated at this point.
Based on that sentence, I was like, were they divorced?
It
They might
kind
have
of
been.
sounds like it, but I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. Well, if not, they were supposed to have like a father-son weekend.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's either or. To be honest, I couldn't really find anything.
Yeah, never said. I mean, I guess they have other things to focus on than a divorce
Yeah,
if they are.
yeah. Than that little detail.
Yeah.
But yeah, it said that he sent a text to Lauren, to let her know, and then she basically started freaking out too, because they were like, "The fuck." He's supposed to be at a friend's house, like not even that far from his house.
That's terrifying.
A few hours later, his siblings, the triplets,
Mm-hmm.
began to receive messages that their brother had been killed, describing photos of Breck that had been posted to social media.
Oh my god.
The photos showing Breck's body were posted to other members of a 6-person online gaming group.
What the fuck?
So like a little like group chat that they
Ew,
had.
he wasn't even trying to hide the fact that he killed him or anything.
Oh no.
Ew.
Oh no, watch, you'll see.
Oh god, okay.
Word spread, leading a friend to text one of the triplets, quote, "Is it true about your brother? If it's true, it's so sad." At the same time, police were telling the Bernards the news that their son had been murdered.
I cannot imagine how those siblings must have been feeling. Just like the confusion, being like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's scary.
Fuck.
They were 12.
Oh my god. Literally children.
Yeah.
That's really sad.
Police and paramedics were called to the flat where Breck was found with stab wounds to his neck, but were unable to prevent him from dying on the scene.
Oh.
According to the BBC News, Louis Days was due to stand trial on a charge of murder but admitted the offense before the jury was sworn.
Whoa.
So he actually was like, yeah, I'm guilty.
Holy shit.
So now I'm going to talk about Louis a little bit. Louis was an unemployed computer engineer.
Okay.
Which is just like, I don't know how it works over there, but that's crazy that he's like
18
already,
a computer
yeah,
engineer.
he's 18 and already a computer engineer.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly defines computer engineer, but I feel like it's similar to stuff that I'm working for web development, and I'm like, I'm 25 and I barely understand this. What do you mean he's 18?
I don't know, man. Like I said, they
Jeez.
probably start early over there.
I know, and I feel like that's the harder part too of it, like computer stuff.
True.
Jeez.
But yeah, he was described by the Daily Telegraph as a babyface killer who looked much younger than 19 years old.
Was he 19 when he killed him or 18?
I think he was
like 19 when he did it, or 18 when he did, 19 after?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like right around his birthday. It was reported that he grew up as an only child, and after his parents split when he was 16, he lived alone in a flat owned by his grandparents.
Wow, jeez, that's a lot of independence for a 16-year-old.
Deadass.
Jeez,
well, I wish.
I mean, yeah,
No,
I wish
kidding.
too. And when I was 16, I would have wanted that. Oh,
Sounds
wow.
a little lonely.
I looked this kid up. He looks hella young.
Yeah, he does.
Holy shit. He looks like he could be like 15 or 16 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, no, but you are right. It would be lonely living on your own, but he probably thrived in it, this little creep.
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
Neighbors described him as reclusive, just very, But online, he was described as the controlling ringmaster
Ew, I don't like
of
that
like the group
description.
chat and stuff. He was just
Yeah.
in control.
Very dominant personality.
Mm-hmm.
Ew.
But yeah, Lewis and Breck would play games, like I said earlier, Call of Duty, stuff like that,
Hmm.
for hours together. And during which Lewis claimed that he worked for the U.S. government and promised Beck great wealth through a fictional computer business.
What the fuck?
Yep.
And he knew a lot of stuff about computers too, so I bet he was able to make it sound convincing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
And I mean, I feel like at 14, you're very
naive.
gullible,
Especially,
naive.
it's not even like someone just came out of nowhere and started saying this. Like, this is his friend he's had for months.
Mm,
So if like your friend told you that, I'd be like, wow, that's like so cool of you, friend. Like, that's sick. Let's do that.
yeah, definitely. Like you don't have any like reason to doubt them or like to
Exactly.
think that they're lying.
Oh, that is creepy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was revealed in court how Lewis bought condoms, duct tape, and syringes online in preparation for the attack.
Again, this like if someone's adding these things to an Amazon cart, you should get a warning and be like, "You good? We're not going to let you buy all these. This is too
Yeah.
weird of a combination."
Yeah. Um,
Uh,
I guess he's also Lewis is the one that basically provided Beck with his alibi, like told them to tell him you're staying at your friend's house and come to my house, basically.
that's so manipulative. Manipulative. He was just oh my gosh. The amount of like planning he had ahead of time too is so creepy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but Breck was bound by his wrists and ankles before he was stabbed in the throat.
Poor baby.
Lewis apparently then showered and changed his clothes before he called the authorities.
Oh my god, he called them himself.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Can I ask,
Um,
was he sexually assaulted or anything?
I think I did write it down, but they did find like evidence suggesting that something happened.
Oh, that's so sad.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he called the authorities where he claimed in a calm voice that he stabbed Breck while trying to stop him from taking his life.
While he was bound?
Yeah,
What
apparently.
what was he gonna do, bitch? Fucking bounce over?
I don't know. That's just what he was claiming. But
Stupid.
during the call, Lewis claimed he and Breck got into a quote altercation, and he also said, quote, only one of us came out alive.
That's such an eerie thing to say.
Yeah, he's interesting.
Sociopathic bitch.
He said, I grabbed a knife and stabbed him in the back of the neck, I believe somewhere near the brainstem. I don't remember exactly what happened, but the fight ended with me cutting his throat.
Brandy.
I'm like, the fuck? How did you just say that like that?
Just calmly.
Yeah.
Also, I would like, he said that he was coming for him, like he was gonna kill him, but he stabbed him in the back of the neck. How does that work?
Well, no, I think. Oh,
Does he mean like he reached around to the back of his neck? Because that's not a natural movement.
Well, I think he stabbed him in the back of the neck, but also like cut his throat.
Ew. That doesn't even make sense with this stupid story then. You can't
No, it
stab
doesn't.
someone in the back and be like, oh, they were coming at me, so I reached around their back and stabbed their back.
Yeah, I don't know.
What a fucking moron. I mean, obviously you're a moron if you're a murderer, but extra.
Yeah. But yeah, when officers arrived at his home, they found Breck's body in the bedroom. They also found that he had Lewis had submerged his computer equipment in water to destroy evidence.
What a super casual, normal thing to do
Right?
when calling the police. What a stupid
But during court, his defense team tried to argue that, well, because he was obviously being charged with, shit,
murder.
what's it called? First degree murder? Like it was
Yeah.
premeditated?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like we all know that. But his defense team was arguing, like, they were trying to say that it wasn't.
Have fun with those like online receipts for all that shit explaining
Right?
that.
Um, but they tried to argue that Lewis had how do you say it?
Asperger's?
Yeah, Asperger's syndrome, which affects his ability to make sound judgments.
Okay, a lot of people have Asperger's and don't murder people.
Exactly. I
No.
was like, that's dumb. Don't do that.
Don't drag down people with Asperger's just because you're a murderer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my brother actually. Well, I know he's on the spectrum. We don't know exactly what though.
Yeah, I don't think your brother's gonna go and groom someone online and murder them.
No, definitely not. He has like the mind of like a freaking 10-year-old. He's
Yeah.
a little kid. Mentally, but physically, homeboy is huge.
Oh yeah, you told me that. You're like, he's a big teddy bear.
Yeah, he's huge. He's like 6 something.
Holy shit, I didn't know he was like that tall.
Okay, no, actually, I'm exaggerating. He's
Okay.
like 5'9", maybe.
That is such an exaggeration. It's like half a foot. He's like 7 feet tall, or
Yeah, he's
all
like
right,
7 feet
4'11".
You know, once they pass me, they're just giants.
They're just 6 feet.
They're just 6 feet.
That's hilarious. I hate that though. Whenever people blame like mental illnesses or like stuff like Asperger's on people being violent, I'm like,
I
no,
hate
that's
that
not.
too.
That's not
Or like if
why.
they were to blame the games, it's like it's not the games, it's the fucking
Yeah.
person.
Yes, it's the person. It's just situational. Even if he does have Asperger's, it's not like that's why he did it. Like he just had violent tendencies.
Yeah, exactly. They also argued that there was not enough evidence to prove that the murder had been premeditated. But the degree of planning and manipulation says otherwise.
And the fact that he was bound.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Doesn't make sense.
Not at all.
But yeah, during his trial, they also questioned the way police handled things because it was revealed that 3 years before Breck was murdered, Lewis was arrested on suspicion of the rape and sexual assault of a 15-year-old.
Oh my, and he was only 15 too.
Yeah.
Ew.
Like 15, 16.
Creepy.
The offenses were reported to the how do you say it?
Essex.
Essex police in 2011, but apparently the force decided not to take any action for reasons unknown.
Because they fucking suck.
Lewis Days was ultimately given a life sentence with a minimum of 25 years.
Jeez.
He'll be like 44 when he's
But still pretty
released.
young.
Yeah.
Like, better reform yourself, bro. Otherwise, you're in there for life.
But yeah, Breck's family ended up taking legal action against the Essex and Surrey police over their handling of the case. Just because, like, you know, the Essex police, because of the way, like, he was arrested on that previous case, but nothing
I can't
ever
believe
happened.
that.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. It was crazy. And then the Surrey police, because, like, his mom literally, like, called them and was like, help, you know, this is weird. Look into it, please. Nothing happened.
They didn't do shit. Yeah,
Exactly.
fucking stupid, both of them.
But if you were interested to know, they accepted a settlement and paid an undisclosed amount.
Good, get fucked.
Right? But yeah, they did get a settlement, and they also, like, they apologized to them, basically.
Good. Was he even like on a sex offender list or anything? No, he couldn't have been if he wasn't
Mm-mm.
charged, huh?
Yeah, no, he wasn't.
That's so scary. Ugh.
His family also established the Breck Foundation to raise awareness of online dangers and promote responsible use of the internet. His mom, Lauren, was quoted by the BBC, I want Breck's tragedy to open the eyes of everyone and to recognize the dangers of online predators. It is a very real danger today. We all need to look after each other.
Good, that's nice.
Yeah. And I was like actually checking out the website. It's just the breckfoundation.org if you want to check it out.
Okay.
But I read that last year they reached more than 20,000 students, 4,000 parents, and 7,000 safeguarding professionals.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, wow, like, that's awesome.
They're putting in the work.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good.
But yeah,
Could have used that.
it's really scary to think about.
No, I was gonna ask too. Did his siblings see the picture? Like, did
I
anyone
don't
send it to
believe
them?
so.
Okay, that's one good thing at least. Holy shit.
From what I could gather, they just kind of described the photo to them,
Mhm.
but then I don't believe they saw it.
Poor kids. That's really sad.
But
That
Breck
is
would have been
scary.
like 21 today,
Oh,
or close to it.
that is still so young. Oh my gosh.
Literally my brother's age.
Oh no. That's so sad.
Because I couldn't find his birthday anywhere, but he was definitely born like 1999 or like 2000.
Oh my
Because he was
gosh.
14 in 2014, so, well, probably 2000.
Yeah, 2000, 2001. Maybe if he
Mm-hmm.
just turned. No, or 2000. I'm not doing math right now. Around
1999 and
2000.
2000, yeah.
Jeez, yeah.
So he would have been
Also,
like 2021.
I want to say, have you seen a picture of his headstone?
No.
I'm going to post a picture of it because this is actually so sick. It's
No, actually, it didn't come up on any of the articles.
it's like a monitor and a keyboard.
Oh, that's sick.
And it says on the end of it, because it says like all this stuff about him, but it says play virtual / live reel or live real. Like a little
That's
option.
cool.
That is so cool. Aw, because he was really into computers and games.
Yeah.
This is gonna be like Robert's headstone. Already planning for his death.
Sheesh.
It's crazy listening to like that story and thinking back, and like my stories too, like researching how many people I talked to were definitely pedophiles like online when I was a teenager. Oh my god.
Oh my god, same. I was already thinking about that. My
On
dumbass would talk
Omegle.
to. Yes.
Yes. Don't ever go on Omegle. If any children in your family go on Omegle, don't let them. I would have people be like, "Oh, it's okay. I'm only 25 or something," and now I'm 25, and I'm like,
Not okay.
terrifying."
Definitely not okay.
Not okay. Anyway, you ready for my second story?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So I'm going to be talking about Alicia Kuzakovich. So, since me and Brandy's stories before obviously had to do with murder, I wanted to do a story on a survivor. So, ending on a slightly lighter note, the story's not light, but the ending is. Just look forward to the ending. Please, God, look forward to the ending. So, Alicia Kuzakovich was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 1988, and in 2002, she was just 13 years old. Alicia was white with blonde hair, greenish blue eyes, standing at 5'5" and weighing 100 pounds. Also, wanted to say, because she's 13, and Patty, who I mentioned before, is 13, these girls both seem like hella skinny for 13-year-olds. Like 90 pounds, 100 pounds. I was like 120 pounds when I was 13. I guess there was like people that skinny. I just wasn't one of them. That's for sure.
Yeah, I can't relate.
We're both just like,
I've always been thickums.
I like thickums for it. It's funny, I've always thought I was average size, but now looking back, I'm like, I feel like I've always been lower than average, and I just had a warped sense of what was average because the clothing store I worked at was junior sizes, and I wore large.
I
So I
get
was like,
clothes.
oh, I must be. Yeah, it's annoying.
I always struggled to shop.
Yeah,
I hated it. I hated shopping
I like shopping, but I
for
hate that
multiple
every store's
reasons.
different sizes. Yeah. I just I hate that nowhere has the same size chart. It's like
Yes,
everywhere you
that
go, you were a
used
different
to
size.
piss
I,
me off all the fucking time.
yeah,
Like I'd be
like
a large at one store, and then at another store I'd have to like be a X, double X. I was like, the fuck
yes.
kind of discrimination.
I know. I have shirts that are like a medium that fit well or like even slightly big. And then I have this one dress I bought last year that's literally size 16 women's and is slightly small on me. So I'm like, what size am I? I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, I fucking hated that. I would like once I did find like a store where I did find like stuff that fit, I would stick to that store. I hate
Yes,
like branching out because I was like, dude, fuck that.
exactly. That's how I felt with ModCloth after I got that. Because, oh, I think it was actually ModCloth that I got like a size large that was like way too big on me. And then I got this other dress that's a size 16 that's too small. And I'm like, okay, but I love their clothes. So, and they offer free returns. So I switched the same dress like 3 times until it finally kind of fit.
Damn.
But anyway, kind of got sidetracked there. Alicia had one brother who was 9 years older than her, a mom who stayed home for most of her childhood, and a dad who worked long hours but always made time for family. The four of them were very close, and she says that her childhood was filled with lots of fun. Alicia was first introduced to the internet by her brother, who liked to play video games. I think specifically he liked to play Diablo, which I've not played, but I feel like Robert's weirdly talked a lot about Diablo. I don't know why. I don't even think he plays it either. I'm just like, yes, Diablo. But anyway, while Alicia wasn't interested in his game specifically, she did like the idea of playing video games online with other people. Their parents had only just recently begun to use internet in the home, and while the kids were warned about stranger danger in person, there was definitely a difference with stranger danger online. As Alicia said, people online may be strangers at first, but then you learn about them and soon they seem like friends. Which is kind of like what I was saying with yours, how he was like so easily manipulated, because that like literally that's what grooming is. They trick you into thinking that they're your friend.
Mm-hmm.
She felt safe online. She had like a little screen name and she would go on and talk to her friends about all different kinds of things. She even looks back now and said that it was almost like people didn't even think of cyberbullying as an option because the internet was like so new and everyone was just being nice and getting along. Even the popular kids would go and talk to like the less popular kids online. I'm like, someone was probably getting cyberbullied. She just didn't see it.
Yeah,
I feel
for
like
sure.
cyberbullying was invented the day that instant messaging was invented.
For sure.
It was online where Alicia met a boy her age who she didn't know in real life. The two liked all the same things, and he would talk and listen to her day and night, giving her advice and letting her complain to him. By New Year's 2002, the two had been talking for 8 to 9 months and were good friends, despite never meeting. New Year's Day was always this day of celebration for the Kuskovich family, and they would celebrate by having a big meal. New Year's 2002 was no different, and Alicia's mom had prepared pork and sauerkraut for Alicia, her parents, her brother, and his girlfriend, and Alicia's grandma. Sometime between dinner and dessert, Alicia asked her mom if she could go and lie down because she had a stomach ache. But really, she was just using this as an excuse to go and meet her online friend. Alicia got up, slipped past the still standing Christmas tree by the front door, and went out into the snowy and dark night. Now, as an adult, Alicia acknowledges that this was actually like hella fucking out of character for her. She hates the cold. She hated it then, still hates it now, and was really afraid of the dark. And it was just like extremely cold and icy and dark because it's Pennsylvania, like in the middle of winter.
Mm-hmm.
She would never even go outside alone after dark unless an adult was with her, so she must have just really wanted to meet her friend, I'm assuming. Alicia walked about a block or so from her house and was standing completely alone on the corner of the street when she had a gut feeling that she was doing something like really dangerous. She turned and started walking back home before hearing someone calling her name, and next thing she knew, she was in a car with an older man and was afraid for her life.
Sheesh.
I think she actually like does not remember getting into the car because, well, I'll get to that later. This man was 38-year-old Scott Tyree of Herndon, Virginia. Scott was born in 1963. He had been married and divorced twice and actually had a daughter around Alicia's age who was 12 years old. Somehow that makes it even creepier. Someone his daughter's age, you know?
Disgusting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. His first wife said that Scott had no past criminal history and described him as a classic long-haired computer guy who was interested in science fiction and computer games. And one crazy fucking thing that I read said that Scott's daughter had actually been staying with him for winter break and had left the very same morning that he went to go kidnap Alicia.
Jeez.
So probably like hanging out with his daughter in the morning, saying goodbye while having plans to go and abduct a child. That's just dark. So Scott had a Yahoo website where he used the name Slave Master for Teen Girls.
No way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm not sure exactly what the Yahoo website part means, but I'm kind of imagining almost like MySpace profile style, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And on his page, he posted dozens of pictures of himself, sexual instruments, and torture devices he owned in a room he called his dungeon. He advertised himself as Master Scott, a man who was single and looking and whose occupation was slave owner. Dude. Underneath hobbies, Scott wrote, training young female slaves to serve me in all ways. If being treated as property to be used and abused for your owner's pleasure and amusement suits you, then you may be worthy to serve me. He also listed himself as a member of 19 internet clubs, including Young Virgin Slave Market and Teens Who Love Bondage. Like, I don't know what online predator prevention, if any, they had back in 2002, but how the fuck was this just listed on his Yahoo page like no big deal?
Yeah, what the fuck?
No one noticed this shit? I find that extremely hard to believe. And Brandy, I'm going to show you one of these images that I don't even know if I'm going to upload to the Instagram because it's super creepy, but it's him posing with his wall.
Holy shit.
And it's like whips and chains and just all kinds of stuff. You could see a cage in there. Terrifying. And he just posted this stuff on Yahoo like it wasn't even a big deal and no one noticed.
That's wild.
That is so wild. Maybe they had private Yahoo accounts? I don't fucking know. Scott had approached Alicia in a Yahoo chat room, obviously under a different email and account, and effectively groomed her for nearly a year, all while pretending to be a 13-year-old boy. Thanks to Brandy, you all should know what grooming is. I was going to describe it, but it's literally the exact same thing that you said earlier, so no need to anyway. But I guess that Alicia's parents actually kept their family computer in the living room, and they would monitor any internet activity, but Scott would often reach out to Alicia at night when her family was asleep, and I thought that this was very strategic and creepy of him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously he's a fucking creep. So, while in the car, Scott was grabbing Alicia's hand so tightly she thought it was broken, all while commanding her to be good, be quiet, or else he was going to put her in his trunk. At first, obviously in shock, Alicia thought he was just going to drive her around the block and then take her back. Then maybe just take her to the next neighborhood. But then, as time went on and he kept driving, Alicia no longer recognized the names on street signs and realized that they were nowhere near her house. At some point, the car reached a toll booth, and Alicia felt sure that this toll booth attendant was going to see her crying, think, what the fuck, that's not normal, and call the police to rescue her. But unfortunately, the attendant either didn't see Alicia or just didn't think it was a concerning situation. And honestly, I kind of get that because I've probably been in the front seat of my parents' cars crying dozens of times while they go through drive-thrus just because I'm arguing with them. So I feel like if they did notice her, it could just look like a father and daughter had been fighting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. After about 5 hours of driving, the car pulled over. Scott dragged Alicia out of the car, into a house, and down a set of stairs into his basement. She noticed that in the basement there was a door with a padlock on it, which he took her inside of. And huge trigger warning for the next couple of minutes. If you need to skip it, please do, because it's bad. In this room, there were sexual devices along the walls, like I showed you, Brandy. There were whips, chains, paddles, and a cage. And Alicia just looked around uncomprehending before Scott told her to take off her clothes. She recalls him saying, "This is going to be really hard for you. It's okay. Cry." He then put a locking dog collar around Alicia's neck and dragged her upstairs to his bedroom where he raped her. After the assault, he chained her to the floor next to the bed. She was continually raped, beaten, tortured by shots of electricity, and by being hung by her arms. Scott actually bragged to his online friends about his victim and had even filmed some of the abuse and shared it online via live stream for all these other sick fucks to watch too. Once Alicia tried to fight back and she ended up with a broken nose. So he was like much bigger than her too, so she was just trying to stay alive, really, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Scott would tell Alicia that he was leaving for work, but she thought that he could have been testing her. Like, he was just saying he was going to work, and then he was just like hiding downstairs, waiting for her to like make a noise or scream, and then he'd come and kill her. So she never knew if he was like actually gone and just, again, like played it safe. She was just trying to stay alive, so she didn't call out for help. I guess people have like questioned her about that. Which is kind of fucked up thing to ask a survivor of this, being like, "Well, why didn't you scream?" It's like, why don't you shut the fuck up? Anyway, back at her home, Alicia's parents on New Year's Day thought that she was just pulling a prank on them. But as they continued to look for her around the home and neighborhood to no avail, they ended up calling police, and they actually immediately suspected that she had disappeared because of like something that happened on the internet. I'm assuming that her personality was also changing because it's kind of just what happens. She didn't say like that I was able to find, but I imagine so. If they automatically jumped to the internet, I'm imagining that she'd been acting differently.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. On the fourth day being held captive, Scott told Alicia, "I'm beginning to like you too much. Tonight we're going for a ride," before going to work. This was also the first time that he'd given her any food, was the same day that he said this, as well as all the abuse she'd been starved out. Alicia was sure that she was going to be murdered, and she remembers crying, thinking about her parents, praying, and imagining what she could do if she was stronger, like a character in a superhero movie. She started to accept the fact that she was going to die, and she said that she went into a dazed state. Meanwhile, elsewhere, one of Scott's online friends recognized Alicia from the news and a missing persons flyer while watching his live stream. They contacted the FBI from a payphone because they were afraid they could be charged as an accessory to the crime, and told them about the video and the Yahoo username of the person who had been sharing it. Using the username, the FBI was able to get Scott's IP address, which led them to a townhouse in Herndon. Alicia suspects that the only reason this person came forward was because her case was getting attention, and if she was murdered, it would be on their hands too. And I thought that was just so crazy. She was likely only saved because a pedophile was scared that they'd get in trouble too. Like, this person was willingly watching it too, you know? Like, they're not a good person either.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. And I'm sure that there was other people who watched and didn't do anything.
Didn't do anything.
Oh my god, can you imagine? That's terrifying. So at 4:10 p.m. on January 4th, FBI agents rushed into Scott's home to rescue Alicia. But to her, all she could hear was the sound of angry men yelling. In fear, she rolled under Scott's bed and tried to be quiet, listening as they went from room to room, shouting clear and not knowing what this meant. She must have accidentally made a noise or something, because one of the agents called out, "Movement over there," before heading for the bed. Alicia was ordered to come out with her hands up and did so, dragging the heavy chain on her neck along with her. She wasn't wearing any clothes and was trying to put up her hands while also covering herself, and she was sure that Scott had actually sent these men to come and kill her, until one of them turned around and she saw that their jacket had FBI on it.
Wow.
And she was found just half an hour before Scott had been due to return home from work. Like, literally in the nick of time. If he was going to murder her that night. Yeah, I read something with her, and she was like, if the FBI had decided to just stop and get a coffee earlier in the day or something, I could have been murdered. It was literally just minutes. And thankfully Scott was found and arrested shortly after. After the rescue, Alicia was taken to be examined at a hospital before being released to the Fairfax County Child Protective Services. I hope it's Fairfax. I put Fairfax, but that sounds fake. I think it's Fairfax. I think it's just a typo. There was so much media surrounding her case that her parents weren't even able to take a commercial flight to go with their daughter, and they had to be flown out to Virginia by the FBI on a private plane the next day.
Damn.
I know. In September of 2003, Scott was sentenced to just 19 years and 7 months in prison. It's not long. He pled guilty to charges of taking a minor across state lines for the purpose of sex and producing sexually explicit images. He was actually already released for these crimes back in February 2019. So there was actually like a big controversy surrounding where he was supposed to live upon release, as he was assigned to a halfway house in Pittsburgh, which is near Alicia's family. And fearing for their safety, Alicia, who doesn't even live there now, she lives in New York, she like protested against this. I think even some members of Congress were like protesting against it. But eventually, it didn't matter where he was supposed to live, as Scott quickly violated his parole by trying to access a website that had porn on it.
Oh
He was returned to prison once again in October of 2019 and is currently serving time in the Federal Correctional Institution in Elkton, Ohio, where he will also have access to sex offender treatment. Alicia herself doesn't think that he is like reformed enough to be out, because she's like, he literally immediately like broke his parole. He's clearly not in a good place to be out. Following her abduction and abuse, Alicia was diagnosed with PTSD and suffered significant memory loss. So this is kind of what I was talking before, like she skipped how he got her in the car. I think she genuinely doesn't remember. And most of her life leading up to her abduction is either difficult or impossible for her to recall. So she has to use therapy as a way to treat this. And she doesn't remember a lot of being held captive. And I read something that was like, yeah, I could use hypnosis to remember, but why would I want to? I'd be like, yeah, I'm good. Like, you remember enough. You don't need to know everything. Now, as an adult, Alicia said that back in 2002, people didn't really understand how she had been groomed, and instead that they would blame her, although she did have some people who supported her. And even an article I was reading from back then, like before they really knew anything, whenever she was first found, they were like, yeah, it's unclear if she went with him, as she was found chained to the ground with a collar on. Like, what? Seems pretty fucking clear. And she's a child anyway. Ugh. Oh, I wanted to say another thing that I read people would say to her too. She said that people would be like, oh, at least it was only 4 days. Like, they would say that to her face. At least you were only tortured and traumatized for 4 days. And she's like, it doesn't matter how long you're there. It's like, it's just trauma, you know? You can't just judge it by time. Fucked. Yeah, she's like, whether you're molested for like 15 seconds or held for like years, like, it's all fucked.
That's super fucked.
That seems like such a shitty thing to say directly to her as well. Like, what? At the age of 14, only a year after her abduction, Alicia founded the Alicia Project, an advocacy group that raises awareness and provides education on internet safety for children, online child predators, and abductions. Alicia has gone to tons of schools and conferences to share her story, although she admits that it can be very triggering for her. Like, she started going and talking about it at 14. I cannot imagine. Jeez. So, with her help, Alicia's law has been passed in 11 states. This law sends funding to the Internet Crimes Against Children task forces and ensures that child rescue teams will not fall victim to general budget cuts. So you can't be like, oh, we have to make budget cuts. Guess we should just do it on this one that helps children, which apparently people do. And she's still working on getting it approved in all 50 states. Don't know why that hasn't happened yet. What's wrong with all these other states? California is one of the ones where we have it. Okay, we're good here. We're good here. I think California was actually the first state that did it. But in 2018, it was reported that since the law was finalized, it has assisted in the arrest of over 1,000 online predators in Wisconsin alone.
Damn.
And I feel like Wisconsin's not even that big. That's like a lot of fucking people. Also in Wisconsin, the funding helped to add a canine officer, a little pupper, who is trained to locate hidden electronic devices to the team. The dog is named Kozak in honor of Alicia, like a shortened version of her last name. And this little pup Kozak was also involved in the search for Jamie Kloss, a girl who was abducted 2 years ago but was later able to escape her kidnapper.
Well,
I know. I mean, he didn't find her, but he tried his best. She helped herself. Yeah, it's the thought that counts, Kozak. As well as working on Alicia's project, Alicia has also had time to go to university, and in 2016, she graduated with a master's degree in forensic psychology. She has been honored with the Courage Award by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and a Jefferson Award for Public Service. In 2008, Alicia wrote a book called You're Not Alone, The Journey from Abduction to Empowerment, which is kind of like a survival guide for survivors of abduction. And using her firsthand knowledge, Alicia has helped train the FBI Academy as part of the Youth Violence Victims and Perpetrators program. And in 2019, she joined the Distinguished Speaker Series at the Clinton School of Public Service. Like, she's just doing all the good things, really.
That's
she's
good.
I know, she's a very dedicated activist. It's pretty cool.
Proactive.
Yeah, proactive activist. So as of now, Alicia is married and an Airline Ambassador's International Human Trafficking Awareness Trainer and spokesperson, where she teaches airport employees how to recognize and report signs of human trafficking. And she has also recently teamed up with the Investigation Discovery Network to provide insight on internet safety. Literally doing everything. It's really cool, though. But yeah, that was my story for you.
Damn. It's a good story.
Yeah, it's a fucking crazy one. I'm just glad that she survived.
Yeah.
I was gonna say hers first, and then I was like, I'm gonna say the one where the child doesn't survive first, so at least that's not gonna be the absolute last thing we think about.
True.
Now we could end it on, yeah, she's out there doing good. She's a superhero. Thriving. She is. Do you have anything else to add, Brandy?
Be careful.
Please be careful online. Like, if you are going to meet somebody, I can't say that I haven't. I have. FaceTime them or something first.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not necessarily going to keep you safe because they could look like they're saying, but might help a little bit.
Might help with the catfishing part of it.
Yeah, the catfishing part. Only meet in public places. Take yourself there. Do not accept a ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even then, I remember you told us a story before on online dating gone wrong. And that one woman who, on a second date with somebody, this happened. Not even the first.
I was going to tell you we should do a catfish episode.
Oh, we should do a catfishing episode. Okay, I'm going to add that to the list. Yeah. That may be later this summer. But I've changed my statement. Don't leave your house. Don't talk to anyone online. Please, just stay home. Don't talk to anyone. Don't even listen to us anymore.
Just hide in the closet.
Just hide in the closet, please. Stay safe, you guys. But if you want to email us, you can at thespookyshit.pod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at spookyshit_pod. And our website is spookyshit-pod.com. Let us know if you guys have met anyone online, and hopefully it ended well. Mine have all ended well, thankfully. Leah? Oh yeah, Leah and Jesus met online, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. And that's, in a way, Leah going online led to this podcast, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have met you, Brandy.
That is very true.
Yeah, so it worked in this case, but still hide in your closets. For the most part, no.
Yeah. Just don't.
Yeah.
Don't give any information away.
Yes, don't give any personal information. I think that I told people my address. I think I told one person my address who lived in the same town as me and were also a teenager. I don't think I was getting catfished because I think people actually didn't know him, but he would say stuff that I thought was a compliment at the time, like, oh, I want to rape you and stuff like that. And I thought that was a compliment.
Look.
Uh-huh. And I think he knew my address. I never met him. So glad I never met him. Terrifying. Well, time to go block that out of my memory again. All right, well, we'll talk to you all next week. Stay safe online and everywhere.
Yeah.
All right.
Please.
Goodbye.
Bye.